Said this before.
I don't believe that psychology is a soft science, though. It's not real science.
I know, but
Like,
you
here,
don't.
I'll just.
You don't believe science is that real.
What are you talking about? Tell me something. I know you're trolling now, but it's still.
How am I trolling?
Just let me ask you this. What's the scientific method again?
I don't know what the scientific. You can call me drunk or whatever the fuck you want to say, bitch.
Yeah,
like
I didn't say anything about you.
you're whispering to her.
No.
If you have something to say to me, say it to me.
She just said you're not being serious.
You don't even.
I didn't say anything about
you don't even fucking know me like that. So shut the fuck up.
Well, it was a wild night for the Whatever podcast as Andrew Wilson made his return post Jargates. Andrew Wilson was no doubt on his redemption arc. Not only is he nicely shaven and misbehaving, but he was out for blood. And there were a few moments from the Whatever podcast that I wanted to share with you guys. This first one is an OF granny. Yes, you heard me right, an OF granny who gets a little too wild. But let's see how this whole thing... So let's get to that one first.
You're a feminist, but you raised your hand for almost every single one. When it came to men should pay for first dates, you raised your hand. Men should be providers. Men should be providers. Men should open car doors. Men should be chivalrous. Men should observe the sidewalk rule. How do you reconcile being a feminist and your description of this is how we got kind of sidetracked. We weren't really talking about equal rights, but you were making the argument that, well, societally, in terms of gender expectations, gender norms, there's like negative gender expectations on men, negative gender expectations on women. You yourself seem to perpetuate traditional gender norms in terms of your dating prospects. Mm-hmm. So how do you reconcile being a feminist, being in favor of sort of dismantling gender norms, gender expectations, but on the individual, personal level, you hold men to said traditional gender roles?
Yes. So we do exist in society, and men are the perpetrators in violence against women. So I do need a protector, especially how we condition gender to be. Men are stronger. Again, if you want to go the nature route and biological route, they have higher levels of testosterone, so they can gain more muscle and all of these things. So in a sense, yeah, when we live in reality, and I do need a protector, because of the circumstances, yes, I would like somebody who fits that role personally. But I do think that it is negative to push that when it comes to wanting the outcome of gender liberation on a grand scale. It is negative to push roles like that.
Wait a second. You don't need that.
What do you mean?
Why do you need that?
Protection?
Why do you need that? Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious if we look at the statistics when it comes to violence between genders.
You want us to believe that you're selecting men based on the fact that they can protect you, not because you find that attractive, but because you just find it to be utilitarian?
I think there might be a little bit of both, sure, that it is attractive.
Why would you be attracted to that?
Yeah, you're going to go like the biological and genetic route with this, and sure.
Yeah, I read. Was it you who wrote the essay? Was it her who wrote the essay?
Oh, did you read my essay?
Brian?
I read it. Yeah, it's her.
I did too. I did too. It was forwarded over to me. I just want to let you know that you got to redo the last paragraph. There's a bunch of formal names there you didn't capitalize. But that aside,
is it bell hooks? Because they're not meant to be capitalized.
No, there was actual. Yeah, there was.
Oh, real? Okay, that's my bad. Also, I didn't know anyone was reading it. It was just for fun. But thank you. Any other feedback?
Imagine writing an essay just for fun. Who does that? Who writes essays just for fun?
It was great. Thank you.
Well, your entire essay revolves around blank slate theory, which I don't even think that you believe. So the idea. Well, when you make an appeal, you say that it's somewhat bad or somehow bad or should not happen that men don't show expressive emotion. That seemed to be one of the key points that you were pointing out in your essay. But there's a problem there, which is I think you just kind of fundamentally misunderstand what masculinity and femininity are. And that's what blank slate theory is. It's saying that masculinity and femininity are just social traits which are conditioned by the environment. That's what you believe. But that's not the case. And here's why that's not the case. Masculinity and femininity revolve around the idea of virtues. The way that we assign what is masculine is based along virtues, things like courage, for instance, for women, maybe It would be along the lines of chastity, right? The reason you assign these to men and women is because if there is a lack of one in one sex versus the other, the social conditions of society begin to deteriorate rapidly. So if women aren't chaste, the social conditions of society actually deteriorate far more rapidly than if men aren't chaste. However, if women lost all courage tomorrow, the societal conditions would deteriorate less rapidly than if men lost all courage tomorrow. That's why it's the case that femininity and masculinity must be tied to virtues and always have been. It's not just a matter of the blank slate social conditioning. It's you can't have a society without these very ideas of masculinity and femininity existing to begin with. Therefore, gender needs to actually have an assignment with sex for a good reason.
Well, I was just going to ask if you think that that means that it should be gender specific. Like,
Yes,
why can't
it
we
should
just
be.
hold these values within society?
Because I just explained why. If it is the case that men decided to not be courageous anymore tomorrow, then the social ramifications in society would deteriorate so quickly that there would not be a society at all. However, if women stopped having the same courage that men did, let's say for perhaps confronting intruders or storming the battlefield or whatever it is, the social conditions inside of society would deteriorate far less. And so it's actually necessary for the sexes who can actually accommodate these goals and deeds to have these actual traits associated with their sex, because they're the only ones who can really accommodate them.
Okay. My take is just that perpetuating those ideas is pretty limiting to the human experience, because then you wouldn't have women who feel masculine and go into male dominant roles. And I think that's just limiting to the human experience. I don't think that.
Yeah, but do you understand why it would be so bad for us to take women and then try to
So I further cover this girl in this video. We'll get to more of her later, this chair one right here. But she's kind of dumb as a box of rocks. And she's one of these like feminists that are just like, oh, it's limiting to my human experience. It's limiting. You know, like they're one of these people like, well, we can't make women feel like they can't do whatever they want. Like, what kind of world will we live in if we make women feel like they can't do whatever they want? Like, she doesn't explicitly say that, but she keeps saying, well, it's limiting to the human experience. As if we don't limit what men do all the time.
or make them masculine by moving them towards roles that they're not even biologically equipped
But
for.
I'm not suggesting we
And
do that.
Yes, you are.
I'm not suggesting we do that. I'm suggesting that there are people, well, this isn't a suggestion, there are people who exist outside of this gender heteronormative binary
So
with
what?
these traits.
So what? Why do you think it's a good idea to take society and the social roles that are inside of society and turn them all upside down to accommodate 0.5% of people?
I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not asking for those roles
Yes,
to be
they
completely
are.
turned upside down. I'm just
Yes,
saying,
you
why
are.
are we not accepting of women?
Because we have to accept men in our, I'm sorry, I will never accept a fucking man who has an Adam's apple dressed as a woman, say he's gonna come in my space as a woman and take over my shit. I'm not. You know what? My mother and grandmother burned their bras for women's, and I don't, what the fuck is this waves of feminism? Feminism is 1965, man. Okay, when we and we have the laws, Title IX.
sound like a very loud
You're gonna
little
keep
feminist.
fucking men in your spaces. You're gonna keep men in your bathrooms. You're gonna keep men in your spaces, and we're gonna keep women in our spaces, and that's it. I'm sick of this bullshit. Stop it. You know what? All this is liberal fucking propaganda bullshit that we have to accept a man being a woman. Really? Does your little Adam's apple go away when you decide you want to have tits and a fucking pussy getting your fucking dick cut off? No. No. You're still a man, and you always will be. That's it. And you know what? You're not going to come in my rights. You're not going to come in my spaces, and that's it.
Sorry.
You got mental illness, and get help for your mental illness. Enough with this bullshit, this propaganda crap. That's all it is. I've had it, man. I'm 52. Yeah, I know. A lot of shit has changed for a lot of years. But you know what? This crap, no. When it gets down to brass tacks, yeah, I don't need this psychobabble. Okay? No. A man's a man, a woman's a woman, that's it. And no man can have a fucking baby and that's it, man.
Yeah, but that actually makes the best point for the lack of...
I don't care if it makes the best point. That's the common logical point. Okay, we're getting back to common sense. Enough of this bullshit. Okay? Oh, you want to twist the fucking psychological around to make a man be a woman? Really? Can they? Can you?
I don't think he's not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Well, thank you.
We were about to hear his response.
Well,
I'd
thank
love to
you.
hear it. Can we hear it? Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
don't know, considering that I'm one of the largest anti-trans proponents in the fucking United States.
Well, thank you. So am I.
I don't know why the fuck you would associate that with me, but okay. So anyway...
Why are you yelling at him?
but-
I'm not yelling at him. I'm sticking my
yeah.
head in the microphone is what I'm
After
doing.
you've read my essay, I think we can just both agree
All of a sudden,
that
I'm
we
yelling
have,
now.
that we have fundamental
I mean,
differences
you were yelling. I just, I don't care if you want to...
I put my mouth in the microphone, just like Brian said. Yeah, put your mouth in the microphone.
So yeah, back to this. She makes one of the most valid points that she makes is the idea of reproduction, right? It's like only one sex can reproduce and has control over reproduction. That's women. You agree that that's true? Since that's the one role that they can do that men can't do, you would think that you would want to socially be promoting reproduction, unless you were an anti-natalist and you didn't want reproduction.
It's
And it is
not
the case
that
that most feminists I've talked to are very much anti-natalist. It's baked into feminism itself.
Can anybody give me a definition of a woman? I can give it. I can.
Can we listen to them speak? I don't mean to be rude.
I just had a moment, a silent
they're
moment.
in the middle
but
of a discussion.
They're debating
and-
something.
I would
Go
say
ahead.
it's an adult human female. Yeah. That
Yeah.
would be a woman, an adult human female.
I just think
well, there is a definition, but anyway, go
I
ahead.
just think we
That's
fundamentally
the actual definition, adult human female. That's the actual definition of a woman. Yes.
No, it's a human that menstruates. Because any human that menstruates from the age of 9
God.
to about 45.
No. So
yes.
you're saying that women who can't
Now, you
menstruate
can't have a
are
baby.
women?
Maybe you can have a baby. That's whether.
In
But
a
you
few
do
years-
menstruate.
In a few years,
no
lady, if
fucking
not
man
already, You won't
menstruates.
be able to menstruate. Well,
Does a man menstruate? Does a man menstruate?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not. But lady, the reason your definition is silly is because in a few years you probably won't be able to menstruate. Well,
I already do. I'm 52. I'm menopausal. See, that's natural.
Oh, so then you're not
That's
a woman
natural.
by your definition? You
Yes,
see
I
how
am a
dumb that
woman.
is?
It's called natural.
Well, but you just said you have to menstruate to be a woman.
Well, from about 9 to about 45, yes.
So
And you
you're
know
not a
this to be
woman,
true.
but by your
You're married
definition,
to a
you're not
woman, right?
So by your definition, you're not a woman because you don't menstruate.
You know what? Come on now. Biologically, stop twisting the biological. You know? I mean,
I'm
to
twisting
about
the
50.
biological?
Yes, you are. Because menstruation, yes.
The biggest problem is like even when we have.
Because if a woman can't have a baby, it doesn't matter if you
even
can
when
have
we
a
have
baby out of that
people who agree with
menstruation.
us-
You are still a woman.
Like for my side of it, even when I have people who agree with me,
Yeah,
one of the biggest things that I have to deal with is that you present the argument.
Oh, I'm supposed to agree with you? And yeah, I'm arguing with you.
But you're not letting him speak at all. You're not even paralleling what he's
Well,
saying.
stop putting that cigarette up to your fucking face.
Are you drunk?
There's something wrong.
You don't. I mean, are cigarettes that offensive to a prostitute?
I'm not a prostitute, bro.
You're on
Are you
OnlyFans.
Are you an OnlyFans?
So
bro?
it's not
That's
OnlyFans, it's a
prostitution, bro.
prostitute. There's a lot of other things that goes on OnlyFans than
Yeah,
that.
are you doing those other things, or are you showing your boobies for money?
Well, why don't you subscribe and find out?
Yeah, so that you're doing that exactly. So that's the thing is don't lie to me and say you're not a prostitute when you're a prostitute.
That's not a prostitute.
No,
A prostitute
if
is
you want
somebody
it happy
fucking
for
somebody
smoking
for money,
cigarettes,
actually
it's
having
happy for
sex
smoking
somebody for
porn,
money.
you know?
You know what? You guys want to twist narratives. That's what this liberal bullshit is. That's why the liberal bullshit took over the media. Yeah, that's why Sponge Brain Shit Pants was hidden for 4 fucking years. You know, because the liberal media, all of a sudden, we got to be programmed to what we say on fucking socials. Hello?
See what you want about OF Granny right here, but I gotta give her points for the sponge brain shit pants comment. I believe she was referring to Joe Biden. Gotta give her some credit for that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm 52. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck if he is liberal or
He's
not.
conservative.
I don't think he's liberal whatsoever.
You know what? I should have been on here when Charlie Kirk was on here. I wish I should.
He's literally
Oh my
not-
God.
They have the
babe.
same views. They're both
I
conservative.
love you, but he's not liberal whatsoever.
Well, at any rate. Yeah.
What the fuck? All right.
It's an open
got-
discussion, right?
That got hijacked.
By definition, a discussion means you speak and you listen. And I don't.
And
think
I've
you've
been
heard
doing
what-
that. I've been silent the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
man.
but I don't think you know what Andrew's position is. It doesn't seem like you know what Andrew's even saying.
I responded to him.
But you guys
Oh,
are in
boy.
agreement, and you're responding as if you disagree with him.
I do disagree a little bit. A little bit.
Have you heard anything he
About
said?
what? What
About
could you
what?
ever disagree with me on?
you did kind of call him liberal, and he's literally
Yeah,
not
and
liberal.
I'm not a liberal. Well, I'm
No,
not a liberal
he's
either.
actually not liberal. Have you watched the show?
You know what? Really quick, Mary, pull up that photo that I pulled. Or actually, wait, shit. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Keep going. I gotta fix it. One sec. Keep going. My bad. Keep going. Go ahead.
Cheers, Andrew.
All right, Andrew.
Anyway, everyone go read
Andrew?
my essay. Go read my essay. Rockies on TikTok, ROCKEYS.
Oh,
And it's
yes.
linked in the bio.
It's a short read. It's about 6 paragraphs.
Yes, I wrote it just like randomly. I'm like shocked that it was ever found.
I want to read.
I just wrote it randomly. You know, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to write a 6-paragraph essay. What is this? An essay? Can it be called an essay? Maybe like it's a glorified blog, maybe, you know? I don't know. I didn't read it, but it's utterly ridiculous.
Okay. What? Okay. Wait, really quick, Andrew. I want your reaction to this. I noticed on your Instagram, and are you wearing a cross right now?
Yes, I am.
Can you show that to the?
Yes, and the reason
And
why.
are you a Christian? Or?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And this is very special to me because I got out of rehab for this.
Yeah,
like
really quick.
25 years ago.
That's fine. Really quick, Mary, pull up the photo really quick so Andrew can see it.
Yes.
So this is on your Instagram, and you have a lot of photos that are just like this. You're always wearing this cross necklace with quite a bit of cleavage, titties popping out. And you also on your Instagram, there's a link to your OnlyFans.
This is OnlyFans.
What denomination of Christian are you?
I don't have one. I'm just Christian. I just follow Jesus.
Non-denominational?
Non-denominational.
Okay. One quick question, then I'm going to pass it back over to Andrew. Do you think God wants you doing OnlyFans?
I don't care. I'm on this earth to do what I'm going to do, and
I don't care. I don't care if God wants this for me. I'm going to do me. Oh, yeah, some Christian there. Sounds more like human secularist talk, if you ask me.
he accepts me. I pray every day, and I pray if he likes it, my forgiveness, and that's it.
And I guess a follow-up question. Oops, let me fix this. Hide that, Mary. Hide the Discord. No. Here, hold on. Go back. Hide the Discord. Scroll down. Sorry. One. There it is. Yeah. Okay. If God wants you or is fine with you doing OnlyFans, what do you think Satan wants?
Satan wants me right where I'm at,
Where does God want you?
where I'm going, where
So-
I keep doing what I keep doing. My day, every day, I wake up, I do my thing.
No,
and
related to
when
the sex work. Related to the OnlyFans.
I mean, sex work.
Yeah,
See,
doing
when you talk about
OnlyFans
sex work, am I fucking somebody?
What kind of content do you do on your OF? Is it boy-girl content? Are there?
No, it's just me.
It's solo content.
It's all me.
Okay.
Whether it's
And you're inducing-
masturbation,
and
whether
you're-
it's
sure.
dildos, whether
Would
it's
you agree-
naked, whether it's not sex.
Would you agree that through your OnlyFans you're inducing men to lust?
Men are going to lust anyway. It's a natural
But would you
thing
be
to do.
inducing them to lust?
Maybe.
Well, almost certainly you are.
Probably.
So again,
And I'm enticing it too on my OnlyFans
how do
page.
you? Well,
Yeah, that's what Brian is asking. When he says you're inducing it, yeah, are you enticing it? Like whatever you want to, however you want to word it. Yeah. Now, if she's doing a good job on OF, that's what you're supposed to be doing. But I mean, who knows? How many subscribers do you think Granny over here has? Because to be fair, you could make the argument she's not enticing anybody.
even if you're a non-denominational Christian, how would you reconcile this with your faith? And then again, I'll just ask the
Because
question
my
again.
faith doesn't come into it.
Do you think God wants you to be doing OnlyFans? Yes or no?
I don't know.
What do you think? Do you have a personal relationship with God?
God, it's called, he gives us free will. And if we feel good with it and we don't feel anything wrong with it, as long as we're not hurting anybody or ourselves. And yeah, I think he's cool with it.
Isn't there a phrase from the Bible, go and sin no more? So, I mean, God gives you free will, but
that's if you go to Jesus and say, I have sinned so badly, just please forgive me.
Okay, really quick, then I'm passing it over to Andrew.
Well, I'm doing
just
that.
A yes or no, not an I don't know. Do you think God wants you doing OnlyFans?
Yes.
And then what does Satan want?
I don't give a fuck.
Well, okay, if God wants you to be doing OnlyFans, then you would say that Satan doesn't want you to be doing OnlyFans, just so I have that clear?
Maybe. Probably doesn't.
That rascally devil.
I guess.
Trying to stop
It's called a fucking choice. We were born with a choice. We either do or we don't, okay? There's either doing or there's no trying in life. There's either trying or doing.
Yeah,
and that's
calm down
it.
there, Master Yoda. Calm down.
Stop
there is
it.
no try.
Okay, well, there it is.
Come on.
All right.
You ripped that off from Star Wars. You ripped it off from Star Wars.
You know what? That little Yoda's a really
stop. Hey,
fucking smart guy, man.
Make your point without yelling, please. Make your points without
I'm sorry,
yelling.
that little Yoda guy is a really smart guy.
You can speak impassionately, but try not to, like, in terms
There
of your
is
volume.
no trying in life, only doing. Because when you're doing, you're trying.
Down you must.
By the way, I want to give, I have to give credit to Andrew.
Calm you must be.
I have to give credit to Andrew for that argument, the question about what if God wants you to be doing OnlyFans, and then, of course, what does Satan want? I'll credit to Andrew Wilson there. Andrew, I'll pass it over really quick. I did want to make an announcement, and Andrew maybe has some thoughts on this. Guys, so Andrew had a fantastic debate with a woman named Kylie. This was our debate that we had, I believe it was on Saturday.
All right, so I believe right there they just go into the crying Kylie stuff. But that was a perfect way to end that little segment with the old OF granny right there. Master Yoda indeed, not only espousing the wisdom of Master Yoda, but also has got the little wrinkly, pruny face to match. Great segment. So we're going to move on, where Andrew Wilson then hones in on chair one of it here. And I believe, and this was a great back and forth where pretty much he leaves her speechless. It's pretty much going on. He's pretty much debating on her feminism views, the gender roles in society and whatnot. And as you'll tell, she is totally outclassed, outmatched, doesn't know why she believes in what she believes. She just knows she believes them. And so let's see her get destroyed, shall we?
Almost strictly relate to, like, not laws or anything. It relates to, like, gender expectations and a rejection of traditional gender roles. Yet in your own life, you don't hold up to your own sort of relinquishment of gender roles.
Yes. So my focus in education was on political thought and theory. So I think I can hold ideas and an ideology that I don't necessarily participate in the present, because those circumstances aren't a reality right now. So, and again, we live in society. Men do exist in a certain way. Women exist in a certain way and have certain roles. We aren't equal physically. So there is that standard. The standard exists, and I am someone that does participate in gender roles. But it's just an interest of mine. Like the idea of gender liberation and just political theory was my focus. So
my question to you is, because I assume that when it comes to, like, the traditional gender roles or expectations as it relates to women and dating, so you would say, for example, there's certain components that women should be able to escape from, like being submissive, right? Or being equal partners and not having the man make all the decisions in the relationship, right? You would reject that, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. Like in your own romantic relationships, do you want to be submissive?
I don't think so. I'm pretty independent, and I mean, I'm not speaking in sexual terms, but pretty dominant too in certain ways. And I think in my personal relationships, and this is why I think it's dangerous to perpetuate a certain idea and roles onto people, because everyone exists in a bunch of nuances. And in my personal relationships, I would rather just have a partner. So any characteristic that I lack, they should have. And if you're a man who exists as the role of a man in society and you need that counterpart to be a woman who exists as the way women exist in society in that role, then that's your prerogative.
Okay, so how do you believe in gender liberation? Hold on, Mary, let's get the cameras going, okay?
So she's not like a big fan of gender roles, right? She wants a partner, but then she wants a man that lacks the qualities that she likes. Oh, like strength? Like brute strength? Is that an example of a quality that you lack?
Do you believe in gender liberation only for women?
No.
But okay, if all women, even feminist progressive women are like you, insofar as you like say, well, it should be the case that men are allowed to, maybe men can be stay-at-home dads. But if zero women, especially feminist progressive women who perpetuate that men should be allowed to do this, but none of them actually adhere to it in practice, in reality, then how can men ever explore these other kind of gender dynamics if you yourself, as a feminist progressive liberal woman, you don't even want that in your own relationship? And I think this would also equally apply to the vast majority of other feminist women who, despite their own proclamations of wanting gender liberation or gender equity or equality, they still demand chivalry and men paying for dates and men being protectors and providers and all these things in their relationships. You want to escape from your traditional gender roles in relationships, but you basically want to be 1950s bachelorettes and still maintain men to their traditional gender roles. How do you explain that?
No, I think everyone should just feel free to exist as they should. And I think perpetuating these roles is dangerous. And although I do look for men who have to protect me physically, I think first it needs to happen on an emotional level where you have a partner who's completely open with you emotionally and maybe matches you intellectually. But as it exists today, men are stronger than women physically, most likely. And
okay, so if I go ahead and just grant that, fine, it's okay for feminists to want men to be protectors, how about paying for first dates?
Yeah, I think when women go out with men, it's a risk it's a risk for assault, let's be honest. 33% of adult women are assaulted by men. So it's not like it's a rare occurrence.
This is a completely dubious statistic. You know
it's
that,
just
right?
my opinion, though.
The statistic is your opinion?
No,
or
my
it's
opinion
fact?
that, like, if you're already fronting the risk.
You know, the statistics you reference include, it's really kind of a disgusting, egregious thing, what they do with these feminist statistics. Essentially what they'll do is they'll lump in things that are perhaps we would agree like shouldn't be done, but are like not nearly as bad as like full-on violent stranger essay. For example, in these studies, they'll include things like catcalling. And
I think that statistic is like way more. It's like 9 out of 10 women experience.
Right, but they'll say, so here's what they'll do. They'll say that they'll create like this sort of amalgamation category, a catch-all category called sexual violence. And in the sexual violence category, they're going to say that things like catcalling, that falls under it. So when they give these questionnaires to these women and the women mark, well, yeah, this one time this guy catcalled me, or if a woman's ever been called a slut, that also is under the sexual violence.
Yeah, I don't.
So it totally skews the statistics.
Yeah, I don't know any valid research or academic that would post any sort of data that would represent catcalling as violence.
Sounds like that would be in the harassment category, not the violent
sexual
category.
harassment,
They
not
consider
sexual
it.
violence.
They consider
well, that's
it
an
under that category.
inaccurate data.
Yeah, but if it is the case that all these feminist institutions and RAINN, for example, like that's pretty much the number one institution, as far as I know, that's advocating against SA.
And you think they skewer their data?
I've literally pulled, like I've actually looked at their statistics, and they make the 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 claim. And then if you look at the actual, it's most of it is from the NIS, but they've done other studies too. If you actually look at like the questionnaires that they're sending out to these women, it includes things like, have you ever been catcalled? Have you ever been called a bitch?
And this is considered reputable, or is this just like you're saying it's just feminist data points that they're pulling?
It's literally what they're citing to these, like RAIN. It's the studies that they're citing to come to the determination that it's been 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 women are victims of these crimes. And then you're gonna say, oh, it's 1 in 3 women are raped, but it's actually no, they're factoring in.
No, I get what you're saying. I just don't know who would consider that to be, if what you're saying is true, who would consider that to be like accurate data selection.
Yeah, sometimes they do that to inflate numbers to push a narrative, So they throw in the catcalling thing as like, SA, so that way they could bring up the numbers of SA because, in order to push propaganda or a narrative, well, if only SA only happens, so much, but they really want to strike fear, so they're going to throw in other things to amplify that number to get dumb feminists like you, dumb women like you to be like, oh my God, 1 in 4 women are raped, are SA'd on college campuses. Oh no. And then they get dummies like you to believe in all these wacky freaking beliefs.
Can show it to you if you'd like.
No, I get what you're saying, and that is what it's representing. I'm just wondering, like, there has to be someone who has countered their data and been like, this is a skewed data.
Yes, all of these data findings have been countered at this point. Have you not listened to anti-feminist talking points? It's all been debunked. At least a lot of it's been debunked.
And is inaccurate.
It's the data that these institutions that are
but it's an inaccurate data set.
Right, but I mean, if these are like the
talking points.
If these are the ultimate organizations that are dictating basically the cultural zeitgeist of 1 in 3 women are being SA'd, but it's including things like catcalling and getting called a slut. Yeah, that seems very misleading.
Yeah, I would completely agree.
Well, Brian's just pointing out there's a lot of methodological issues, like defining and measuring violence is really difficult because you can only measure it by your definition of what it is. You understand? Like, if you consider catcalling, for instance, to be sexual violence, then that would skew your numbers extremely high when they're really not as high as you're claiming, right? Lifetime prevalence versus annual violence would be another one. Types of violence, inflated sense of prevalence, right, could be another issue. There's a lot of data biases which happen. When I look at these numbers, I look often at how these things are defined, and I find massive discrepancies which are absurd, just absurd. Like the idea of catcalling, for instance, being sexual violence is fucking insane to me.
I would agree.
I'm going to let this chat come through, then we're going to move it on a little bit. Thank you, Pasty George. Appreciate it.
$200. Chair 1, can anyone be what they want? So, according to your logic, which other feminists also share, a person can be like Jason Voorhees or even Michael Myers. So, is mental illness a right? LOLXD.
Who are those people? Question?
I don't know. They're asking if I support... Yeah, if I support like serial killers, maybe? Is that the suggestion?
I think that's what he's asking.
I mean, obviously there's a balance of morality that you have to consider when you are talking in conversations like this. And I think murder is morally wrong. And I think academics, anthropologists, political scientists, normal people on the street have all collectively agreed as a society that murder is wrong and serial killers.
Getting back into the notes here no, it's fine. Jazz, so like I said, there was a bit of back and forth. You said that our ideas, so I suppose me and Andrew, our ideas about gender are fundamentally so different that it would be a waste for us to have the conversation that I suppose we are having, have been having, and are about to have. Can you clarify what ideas about gender are fundamental that me and Andrew is so fundamentally different?
You guys define gender as biological, and I disagree on that baseline. So we fundamentally disagree on the idea of gender.
That's incorrect. Neither Brian nor myself would define.
Oh, what is your definition of gender?
Yeah, so I'll explain.
Also, it's nice to meet you. I haven't seen you. I've seen like a clip recently, but.
Oh, so her criticisms were just towards me, I guess. Well, Andrew's part of the convo, so we'll go ahead. Sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, so we would say that sex was a biological category and gender would be a socially constructed category.
Oh, okay.
Gender is trying to allude to some type. Now, I would disagree with the descriptive of what you consider gender to be. That's true. But no, we would be able to separate these two concepts with ease.
Okay. Yeah, I agree as well that gender is a social construct, but you think that the way it exists, maybe not today, but a couple of years ago or decades ago, that men have a role in society and women have a role in society based off of
Neither
their
role. Yeah, well, by necessity. So can men reproduce?
No.
No. So which sex do we have to count on to reproduce?
Sure, but why are you harping on reproduction so much?
Because you claim that there's no gender roles, right? That these are that it's a blank slate, that people can do whatever they want. But the truth is that we have to have a society, and that's going to require reproduction, right?
Do you not think that there would be some sort of balance when it comes
Before
to...
you ask me a question, can you do me the service of answering mine?
Oh, sorry, repeat your question.
Yeah, so is it the case that women are the only ones who can reproduce?
Yes.
Okay, so if that's the case, then help me out with this. If we want to have a society, we need women to reproduce, right?
Yes.
So if we need women to reproduce, why wouldn't we tailor society in such a way which was conducive to female reproduction and men who can't reproduce, not reproducing, but providing the services in which their body archetype is designed for? Why wouldn't we do that?
Well, do you think every woman should reproduce?
And hang on, answer my question first.
Well, I'm getting there, though. You're asking why wouldn't we...
You don't answer a question by asking one. You answer a question by answering it, and then I'll answer yours. So start with this. Why is it that you don't want to tailor society towards females reproducing, since they're the only ones who can, and men towards doing the hard labor jobs and the dangerous jobs, which basically only they can do as well? Why would you not want society conditioned that way?
Because I think it's extremely limiting to the human experience. I think women are more than just birth givers.
Okay. And can women have an experience if they're not fucking born?
No.
Okay. Now I'm willing to listen to your line of inquiry. Go ahead.
Do you think every woman should reproduce? Do you think that if the roles weren't the way that they are or the way that you want them to be, where you need a woman to reproduce?
So when you ask a monolithic question, the answer to your question is no. I wouldn't say every woman on planet Earth needs to reproduce, but that's kind of beside the point. The truth is that we still need to have reproduction in order to have a society. So even if it's the case that like women without uteruses can't reproduce, or women who can't menstruate can't reproduce, or women who can't have eggs can't reproduce, or even some women just are so untailored towards motherhood they can't, I would still think that you would want the social conditions for reproduction to be the thing you focused on, because otherwise you don't have human beings.
Yes. So do you think that reproduction wouldn't occur anymore if the roles weren't as they are now?
As a matter of fact, I don't. And here's my proof. What's the birth rate in every single Western country and most of the world? Is it above or below reproduction rates?
The birth
so you need
rate.
to have, mommy and daddy need to have 2 babies in order to replace mommy and daddy, right? Are mommy and daddy having 2 babies to replace mommy and daddy right now?
No, they're not.
Well, that's really weird. It's almost like when we apply your insane ideology of non-specific gender roles and moving the social conditioning to move women into the marketplace workforce where they're fucking miserable, it's not conducive to reproduction. Now, under my worldview, which is the right worldview, I would tailor society towards females and reproduction, which would include staunch gender roles. And then we would actually have a society.
Would
Right
you?
now,
And
what's
that
going on
excludes
is that
men
your society is
pretending to be
being-
women.
Your society, hang on. Your society is being replaced, literally replaced by immigrants because our societies can't reproduce themselves.
Would you not suggest that maybe women should just have more resources to help them?
Resources, you want women to have more resources?
To help with
Like,
childbearing
here's,
and then.
here's the biggest
I don't get it though. So she doesn't think that women should be moved toward a goal of reproducing, but she wants to give women more resources to help them reproduce. What does that mean? What, you just want women just to have babies by themselves, or resources to, like, for a woman to just have a baby and just have resources to pay for a nanny so she could work? Like, I don't understand. Like, what? Do you just not want men in the picture? And they say that, and if that's the case, like, they say that feminism is an anti-man. It's the same thing like that Rafael Gomez guy, aka Timu Mike Shinoda, when he was like, oh yeah, men should be responsible for child support, but they don't have to actually be involved with raising the child if they don't want to.
resource I want to give to women that'll help them the most with childcare: time. The ultimate resource that every rich man will tell you is the one thing that they can never get back. It's the one thing that you spend and never comes back to you. Yeah, I would give them time. And you know how you give women lots and lots of time? You try to move the social conditions so that they can stay fucking home with their kids. And then what do they have the most amount of abundance of? Time. The one irreplaceable thing. So if you want to give women resources and stuff, right? I don't think stuff is going to do it. I think that time is what does it. If you're going to...
Well, also, too, that's where you try to find a husband, a good husband that could give you these resources, not from, daddy government.
Most of your day away from your child, how is that conducive to reproduction? How does that help us reproduce exactly?
The government did that to keep us separated and segregated to get more tax money.
The feminist movement did.
To indoctrinate our children.
Actually, the feminist movement did.
Okay, fine.
It did.
Whatever.
It did. It really did. The original, it did. And that's why we're here now.
Sin Magic
That's why we're
14
here now.
donated
That's why we're here now.
$200.
Thank you,
You
so
are
much.
gorgeous, girl.
I think you are gorgeous.
No, wait. One. I'm so
Wait,
one.
wait,
It's
this
your
is for
8.
you.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were 8. I'm so
there it is.
sorry. You were gorgeous too.
Did you have a response to Andrew, or?
Yeah, again, I just think it's a really
Stop.
limiting stance.
gorgeous either
Me, personally, I don't think I would find my ultimate purpose and value in having children. I really want a career
But you wouldn't-
myself.
You wouldn't have to. Like, don't you understand that through the illusion of you thinking that you're promoting choice, you're promoting prison ideology? The very idea that you have is because you would not be happy being a mommy. You want to go in the workforce or some shit like that and go work for a boss in a cubicle and complain about how cold it is to the HR lady. Because that's your dream. The assumption there is that all of society should be tailored towards this thing that you want. You can still do that shit, but why wouldn't you try to move society towards the idea of reproduction and the cross-generational or nuclear family, the backbone of all societies, the family unit? Why would you not want to move society towards that?
Well,
even if you want to go have your cushy little air-conditioned job and not reproduce.
I hate that women have to choose between raising a child and having a successful
They don't.
Yeah,
career.
exactly.
It's so stupid. Like, feminists, like, worldview is so dumb. Like, they hear, like, hey, let's push women more toward, childbearing and being good wives and mothers. And they literally, like, they go to, like, Handmaid's Tale. Like, what we want to do is we just want to lock them in cages in the house and just force them to reproduce and just force them just to cook us our dinners and just, don't let them out of the house, unless they're escorted by a man. Like, they hear, like they hear Handmaid's Tale. Like, that's immediately their go-to. That's how lost and indoctrinated these women are. And they don't think about it, like, from the man side. Like, men, we don't get a choice. Like, they're like, I just don't think women should have to choose. Well, men don't get to choose. Like, honestly, like, even though men, yes, we do have the option to be stay-at-home dads, since it's not really looked highly upon in our society, we don't really get that choice. Like, yes, legally and like, yes, legally we're allowed to be stay-at-home dads, but is that really looked highly upon in society? Do we push for choices with men? Do we really as a society say, hey man, as a man, you could go to work or you could be a stay-at-home dad. It's your choice. No, there is no such choice or push for that in our society. We teach men from the beginning, and also I think just male instinct as well, that no, you should be out trying to work, build a career for yourself. That way you could have resources and money to take care of a wife and children and provide for them and be providers for them. Because that's what women look for in a man. Women aren't looking for men that like live, that's a joke actually. Like, oh, this dude's a loser. He just lives in his mom's basement. Why is that such a joke? Like, why is that such a insult? If that's not what women value in men too. So why is it? The question shouldn't be like, well, why should women have to choose? It should be, well, why are men not allowed to choose? How come men are held to such a standard, but women, they're just allowed to do whatever the hell they want?
But here's the thing, right? But what you're saying right there is that you would prefer to limit. You would prefer to create limits. I hate that they have to choose, right? Guess what? They didn't always have to choose. That wasn't always the case.
Yeah, they didn't have a choice before. It was just their children.
Why is it such a bad thing to tailor society towards the idea that society can reproduce itself, even if it limits choice?
But reproduction doesn't
limit choice for everything. It's a good idea to limit choice.
Reproduction isn't going to stop happening. There are still plenty of women who want to bear many children, more than one, more than two. And
I would like to read for you something here. I would like to read for you the birth rate in South Korea. The birth rate in South Korea is 0.78 births per woman. 0.78, not one. It's not one child per woman on average. It's less than one child per woman on average. Now, you can watch this on a flowchart from 1960 to 2000 completely bottom out into next to nothing. South Korea isn't going to be there in 200 years or even 100 years. If they continue on track, it's going to go, they're estimating it goes as low as 0.38, right? That is civilization ending.
Do they happen to have
For what? So that you can make a fucking sandwich for a boss somewhere? Like, what is that? So let me ask you this. I'll just ask you that. I've asked many feminists this. I already know the answer, but I'll ask you anyway. If it were the case that we limited women's rights in some capacity, but ended up with a thriving reproductive society, or the alternative is that society just ceased to exist because it could not reproduce itself, but women had no rights limited, would you select for the society being wiped out or for rights being somewhat limited for women?
I just don't think that's what's happening. I do have a question.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
I mean, it's a question that wouldn't realistically happen. I have a question about your previous.
It's designed to test your logic. I know it's not going to happen.
Well, I have a question about your previous statistic.
Listen, if I asked you if a meteorite struck right next door and started a big fire, would you evacuate the building? You say yes. It's not really going to happen, right? But the point is to test what you would do. So I'm going to give it to you again, the hypothetical again. If it were the case that we limited women's rights to some degree, but saw an explosion in reproduction, or we didn't limit women's rights to some degree, and society ceased to exist in 50 years or 60 years, which one would you select for? Which one would you prefer?
I don't think...
Answer the question.
I am answering the question.
All right.
I don't think what you're saying, like limiting women's rights, would... or taking away their rights, like saying that they should just be homemakers.
Yeah, the conditional is if it were the case that, so if it were the case that limiting women's rights slightly, and men's even, you limit both their rights slightly, right, led to a more reproductive and happy society, or you limited their rights in some capacity, would you prefer, but that led to society ceasing to exist in 50 years, which would you select for? I'm not asking whether you think that that would happen or not. So which one would you select for?
I would go with the first. But I also don't think
Which is
that
what?
would be
What's
the outcome.
First? Tell us what that is.
If you're, it's just like extreme absolutes that wouldn't happen. So I really can't make a decision.
You can't. You don't know. You can't decide on whether or not the human species ceasing to exist and your society ceasing to exist would be preferable over slightly limiting some of your rights. You don't know the answer to that question, and you wonder why it is that so
because
many
I don't
people
think those are
gravitate.
necessarily the exact outcomes that would
Do you
happen.
understand why so many more people gravitate towards my ideology than they do feminism? Because when you ask a person this question, it's such an easy answer, but feminists can't actually answer it because they know that the truth is that rather than be limited one iota, you would rather see society not fucking exist anymore.
But if roles
Isn't that
were
actually
reversed, if men were limited to just the house and they couldn't have passions and success, you would
You're not
feel
limited to just the house. I didn't say that. I said if you had some of your rights slightly limited. We have our rights slightly limited right now. I have limited rights on free speech. I can be drafted. Brian can be drafted. The men all watching can be drafted. We have all sorts of limits on our rights and all sorts of duties associated with us. So tell me, since, and it would be preferable for me if there was a slight limit on men's rights, but it led to a reproductive society, I would definitely prefer that. So, like, which one for you?
Again, I think these are absolutes that just wouldn't happen. Like,
Yeah, I know, but if they did happen, which one would you select for?
I would want, if those were the absolutes that I have to choose from, I would want society to continue to exist. So limiting women's rights. But I do not believe that restricting their rights and would stop reproduction completely. I think we wouldn't have an issue. And I know you give that statistic in North Korea, but I do have a question: is if they have a limit to how many children that they can have?
Nope.
There's no limit.
Nope, it's not China. And China got rid of the one-child policy as well. There's no limit.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering because I was trying to conceptualize that.
So here,
statistic that
let me give you an easy.
But notice how she, like, again, they think the Handmaid's Tale, oppression. We're just gonna lock women up. Like, notice how she goes, well, just limiting women to the home. Like, these feminists honestly think, like, you're gonna be locked in the house, never allowed to go outside. Only unless you have our permission as men to go outside. Like, that's what they honestly think. That's how brainwashed these feminists are. That they hear, like, hey, listen, you have a duty. There's gender roles here. Maybe we should push toward that. And they hear, like, oppression. Oh my goodness, we're gonna keep women like chattel.
That you could do to tailor this that would make a massive rebound for reproduction. Let's see if you would actually go for it. Now that you've agreed you would rather see society thrive.
Like, imagine if, like, men thought that, like, that stupid logic, like, well, if you only want us to go out and work, you just want to keep us outside? Do you just want to keep us at work all day? You just want to keep us chained up at work at our jobs all day and never let us come home? Like, you would be like, no, no, dummy. That's not what we're saying. So how come feminists, like, think this way as well? Repeal the 19th.
That's the case that we promoted, that women did not go to college, right? But used those childbearing years, which is their 20s, in order to have a family and reproduce instead. We would see an explosion in reproduction in the United States. And I know this because the correlation between women going to higher education and the birth rate dropping, you can literally draw a line parallel to each other. Because they defer their childbearing years until they're in their 30s, that's why they have so many less children, right? So would you be against a campaign which said to women, hey, you can still go to college, but you should do it later in life, after your 20s, after your reproductive years, and instead you should use those reproductive years to try to settle down with a family? Would you be against a campaign like that?
If we're in a reproductive crisis, maybe. But again, I don't think every woman's dream or value is in the fact that they can bear a child. And that's just a personal opinion. And I don't think
I know you don't agree.
In fact,
let's just dive down that road. What other value? What do you think is more valuable a woman can
I mean,
bring
we're
to the table?
humans. We're like the most.
Yeah, I know you're humans, but what is the more valuable thing that a woman can do rather than give us children? What
Well,
is the
I mean,
more valuable
just
thing?
in a broader sense, our existence. I don't think we can.
Your existence is more valuable than giving.
Well,
more
I don't
existence?
want to limit it to just reproducing. We're
Yeah, I know,
humans
but
with
what you
experiences
said
and
that
nuances.
women's only value is not reproduction. Name a single thing that's more valuable a woman can bring than reproduction. What is a more valuable thing a woman can do than reproduce? What?
I'd say take care of their community. I don't necessarily think that their
Taking
only
care of their-
value.
well, is there a community if the women aren't reproducing?
I don't think all women are going to stop reproducing at one time. This is just like an outlandish absolute that
They're
wouldn't ever
already
exist.
stopping reproduction. We
But
have
it's not
the
a
data. I just showed it
crisis.
to you. It's not just there. Do you want to see what it is in the United States? It's dropping like a rock here too. They are not reproducing. That's one. And two, if it is the case that taking care of the community is more valuable than childbirth, then why wouldn't you advocate that no women gave birth to children and instead just took care of their community?
They're probably not reproducing anymore because men think that their only value is in giving birth, which is just not true.
Oh, gee, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, hey, you have this really, really valuable thing that you can do. And
that's
I
not
can't
all
do
we
it,
are.
And neither can any male on planet Earth. Wow, that's amazing. How dare you say that that's the most valuable thing that I can do, even though I agree with you?
Yeah, exactly. What a stupid answer. Maybe it's because men just think that all we are is this and that's why. Yeah, what a dumb answer. Feminist has rotted this woman's brain. And she goes, but that's not all we are. We're just more than that. Yeah. I mean, man, we can make the same logic. Oh, all you think we are is just money makers? We're just ATM machines? We're just labor? We're just labor that's just supposed to go out and work and just give you all of our money? Is that all we are? Oh, and she wants a man to be strong to help protect her. Oh, is that all we are? We're just bodyguards? Is that all we are? Like, we can make stupid, dumb arguments like that as well. Like, honestly, woman, give it like a few more minutes. Just give it a few minutes of thought, please. Please. I'm begging you.
You think that makes sense? Like, who here can
If
name
that's
a single,
all you think
a
women
single thing
are.
that is more valuable than female reproduction from a female? What is more valuable than that? Any takers? Nothing.
Well, I can think of some things, but I can't.
I'm not denoting its value. I'm not saying, like, it's a beautiful thing. And for the people who want to participate in that, that is great for them. Everyone says it's like, that's their meaning in life when they have children. And like the love is just unconditional and all of these things. But I think it's just, again, limiting to the human experience. And if men collectively only view women as something to reproduce in.
All right, there's something I've been wanting to ask you since I've been listening to you tonight. And I'm going to give you the floor, right, for this, because I want to hear it in the worst way. Let's pretend that you're playing a video game where you have to organize society, okay? And you note that one people group in the video game are twice as strong as the other, right? And they don't have as much trouble with hormone regulation. The other sex of the video game, or the other people group in the video game, they happen to be the ones that can have the babies. And they're a weaker sex, right? And they have a little bit more trouble with hormone regulation. Now, you want to see that society thrive. How would you organize it as the video game player? It's sim world. Those are your parameters. How would you organize this thriving society?
I think we're way more complex than a Sims game where you just want to create.
Yeah, I know. But inside of the Sims game, how would you organize the society?
Similar to how you suggest we should do it in our society right now.
Isn't that
for
amazing?
a video game where they're not humans and they're not complex and they don't have aspirations outside of reproduction?
Isn't it amazing that when you ask a feminist this question, they want to organize society exactly how I want to in order to beat the game?
If
Isn't
those are
that
the
fucking
parameters,
amazing?
you've given us the craziest parameters. Like these
The
are
craziest parameters, that you have a stronger sex that's twice as strong as the other and one sex can reproduce? You mean all of human experience?
But that
Those are
doesn't
the
mean
crazy
that's all we're
parameters?
meant for. Just because we're the only ones that can do it doesn't mean that's
What do
our
you keep,
only.
the
What
reason
else
you
are we
keep
meant for?
monolithically saying we're all only meant for X, right? Most women are meant for reproduction. Yes, you all have reproductive organs so that you can reproduce. Men also. Guess what? They're designed for reproduction. The reason their dicks get hard and they want to put them inside a woman's vagina is because they're biologically engineered to fucking reproduce. That's why. And so the reason they look at you and they're like, wow, she's got big old tits and nice little voluptuous hips or whatever it is that they say, it's because, right, they're looking at you as a vessel for a child from a biological perspective. That's how all of fucking humanity is organized and how all of humanity has always organized. Now, I would like you, as the video game player, to show me your new humanity and how it's organized. I can't fucking wait.
Have you heard about them reproducing or making children from potentially from the bone marrow of women and their egg?
Great. You know what? I wish to God that the test tube babies could actually happen absent female eggs. You know why? Because the one power that women do have in society is the power over reproduction. And I would love to see what happened if men then had the power over reproduction. I think that your ideas of being an equal citizen and things like that with men would completely deteriorate into non-existence if men had the power over their own reproduction. Imagine a man could just go and make the type of baby that he wanted, absent ever having to have a long-term relationship with a woman. Wouldn't they prioritize that? And what do you think happens to the rights of women then?
I think the case is that you still need the female egg, but in a
Great.
world you're
and
saying.
how many female eggs can you get? You can get a lot of them. Hey, if you'll sell your assholes on OnlyFans, I'm pretty sure you'll sell your eggs for a few $1,000.
That's a brilliant way for Andrew to turn this around on her, because yeah, like if they were to go through with that, I mean, yeah, then we wouldn't need women at all. And what would they think then? It would teach these feminists that maybe they should value their the fact that they could birth babies and stuff like that. Maybe we teach them to value the fact that they birth babies and stuff. And not just leave it to science, because, yeah, they would be giving away one of their only few leverages that they have. And if feminists believe that a man could just take care of a baby and they don't need a mother and stuff, if two men could take care of a child or whatever, well, then, yeah, they're not really making an argument that they're really needed. It seems actually anti-feminist to me, if you ask me. See, what's frustrating is that after all this explanation, after Andrew gives his logical and good points and stuff like that, at the end she still defaults to her, well, I just think it's limiting to the women's experience. Again, she has it in her head that she's just going to be locked up in a cage in the house.
Society, even if again, we're not in a reproductive crisis. Like, this is like extremes that we're discussing.
I'll tell you what, show me then the society that you would organize and how it would thrive absent those narrow gender roles where you have one sex which is twice as strong as the other and can't reproduce, the other is half as strong and can reproduce. How the fuck would you organize society better? How? Yeah. Nothing. Crickets. Because it can't be done. Because the only logical thing would be to take you're twice as strong as this sex. Let's put you in all the strength roles. And this sex, which is much weaker than you and can reproduce, we should probably put them in the nurturing roles. You know this. It's intuitive. Everybody knows it just by looking at it. But right now, you have the opportunity of a lifetime. You can make me look so fucking stupid. All you'd have to do is point out how you would organize society absent that. Go ahead.
I just think we're way beyond the necessity to have a structure that consists of what you're suggesting.
How are we beyond that? Do you think that women
Just
are going to go get hard hats
reproducing?
and start logging, or what? Do you think
If
that they're
that's
gonna
their
do the logging?
passion, sure. I don't see the reason in limiting their existence to just reproducing.
They're not limited right now, and they don't do any of those fucking jobs. They don't log, they're not linemen, they're not inside of the electrical fields, they're not inside of the trades, they don't do any of that shit. They get degrees in nursing and in psychology, and they work in fucking office jobs, and they work as servers, and they do the same top 10 jobs that they've done for the last 100 years. The same shit. Tell me how they're limited right now. How?
Because we exist in the roles that you're suggesting is the best.
Because why? Because those are the roles that you're capable of doing, and that's why women select for them. Why do you think women don't select to be plumbers? Why do you think they don't select to be loggers, even though they can? Why do you think they don't select to be linemen? Why do you think they don't select for jobs which fucking kill you? Which is why you see the rate of death from women in the workforce is basically 0%, and from men, it's overwhelmingly high. Why do you think women select for those jobs? Why?
Because of all the reasons you've suggested here.
Because those are the ones they can do.
And I'm just saying, as a counter argument, that I think that's limiting. I think a lot of women would find success in male-dominant roles.
Limited by your own existence. You know, when you die,
it's by your structure. It's not just our own existence.
You should go and
No, it's not by the structure. It's that women aren't choosing to go into these jobs. Women are limiting themselves. And I wouldn't even call it limiting. It's like if a woman wanted to go in construction, I mean, they could be garbage men. They could be, sewer workers or, pipe welders, underwater pipe welders. They could do all this dangerous. They could be mechanics. They could be all these things, but overwhelmingly women don't choose to go into these fields. So it's not because we created a structure and they're following them. We live in a time period where women are more freer with what they could do now than ever because we push this whole women should have a choice thing. So they're more freer to do what they want than ever, and they're still doing the same shit. So at what point is it like, oh, it's because of the oppressive men? Or is it just that women just want to do these types of jobs?
To complain to God that he limited your existence to how you exist. But the truth of the matter is that you couldn't organize society any other way. I just gave you the floor so you could demonstrate it. You couldn't. All right? I asked you why it is that women, when they have free choice, still don't choose any of these dangerous jobs that men do. You couldn't explain that either, except to say it's because those are the ones that they can do. Right?
No,
how would you organize society differently? How?
I'm saying we have opportunity now to not have to force women to just reproduce or limit.
They were never forced. Forced to reproduce.
But you said
societal roles were set up where it was conducive. It's like, and you know what else is so funny about this? It's like, oh no, oh my God, I don't have to work and have to stay in this fucking nice house all day and take care of my, oh my God, oh the humanity, oh, well how could you do this to me? Oh, and women didn't have to, they couldn't get credit cards. Oh, but they got no debt. Oh my God, there's no debt. Oh no, not no debt for women. They didn't have to get drafted. Right? They didn't have to join the fire brigade in order to vote. They didn't have to be subject to poll voting laws like men did. Oh my God, women, they're so fucking oppressed. Oh God. It's like, what are you talking about? When I look at the historical standard for feminism, I think to myself, you had it made in the fucking shade and you fucked it all up. What are you, stupid? Like, you took the same amount of men and you organized it so you could stay at fucking home all day, incur no debt, basically get whatever the fuck you wanted, and be subject to limited amounts of lawfare against you. They'd be like, yeah, I'm taking that fucking deal.
What cigarette is smoking, man?
What cigarette you smoking, man? But honestly, Andrew's 100% correct. Is like, how stupid of feminism in women. Like, I always say this. If in the 1950s or whatever oppressive period they're talking about, if it were the man's role to stay at home, like let's say in the 50s, if the men's roles was to stay at home and watch the kids in the house, and women's role was to go and work and take care of the family, the feminist movement then would have been, oh my God, why do you have us slaving away? It's not fair. We should have a choice. You have to make us slave away at work all day while you get to stay at home. That's not fair. We need feminism so that women could stay at home too. Like, honestly, I think all feminism just comes down to is just penis envy. That's all it is. It's just, well, if men can do it, why can't we? And it doesn't matter. Like, they want to deny that men are the leaders of society, but then they follow us in whatever good or bad behaviors we engage in. Even if it's something like, well, men are allowed to be promiscuous, so why can't we be promiscuous too? It's like, dude, oh God, what? Like, do you guys really want to engage even in our bad behaviors?
Marlboro.
Andrew's
Oh,
jealous.
Marlboro. Oh, shit. With the filter. Hell yeah.
But I think that was the end of that convo where he completely destroys chair number 1. And now I already thought that was a redeemer in itself. I mean, that woman needed to be brought into reality of just how it is, and not that, well, women being told that they should take care of children. Oh, wow, that's Handmaid's Tale. Need to snap her out of that shit. Snap her out of it. Snap her out of it. And I'm glad that Andrew did that, but then it gets even better. When he makes chair number 2 crash out.
Mainstream being what we would consider broadly normal.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that how you identify mental illness, is by looking specifically for behavioral patterns which aren't normal?
Sure, you could say normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, because you
Yeah.
say atypical. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't even know how, since psychology is the study of the mind, which is just the study of behavioral patterns. How is it that you could ever judge something was mental illness or an issue, other than to say, when we compare this to the sample size of other people who aren't you, this isn't the behavior we see?
I mean, yeah, that's one way. I think impairment in functioning also indicates an inability to function. So if you can't work, if you can't sustain,
Mainstream being what we would consider broadly normal.
yeah,
Isn't that how you identify mental illness, is by looking specifically for behavioral patterns which aren't normal? Mainstream being fucking insufferable. You can't get 3 words across to each other without you freaking out. Yes, we get it. Men can't be women. Yes, I understand. I totally agree with you. Was there anything else that you wanted to add
really?
that was useful?
That's what we're talking. Really?
Really?
I'm not even.
Andrew, how do you
I
feel
know
to be
you're
a
not
sugar
even-
daddy? How do you feel to be a
Anyways,
sugar
so-
daddy?
I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
How do you feel to be a sugar daddy tonight?
That's not, you think that it's sugar daddying that a nice young couple who hasn't been on a honeymoon, who you berated her husband, that the Crucible is going to send them off on a honeymoon? That's sugar daddying?
Yeah, you and the
What do I
Crucible.
Okay, before we continue, I just got to explain a little bit here. So this girl right here, chair 1, 2, 3, 4, chair 5 right here, she said she got married at a young age. I think she's married to her husband now. She turned 18. They got married when she was 18. He was like 20, 21. And they got married young or whatever. Andrew supports it, but they had to elope. And so Andrew was like, well, we're going to give $3,000 to support the honeymoon from the Crucible, so which we all donated, including myself. And this girl right here, chair number 2, was kind of a hater. And the reason why Andrew also donated to her is because she accused her husband of grooming her, because I guess they met when she was 17 and he was 20. I mean, that's not really a big age difference right there, but she called it grooming and was being a complete hater. So Andrew kind of also donated to her to stick it to this girl. And now she's just completely 100% hating, calling Andrew a sugar daddy because he is going to give her money for their honeymoon. So now that you're caught up, let's begin.
Our sugar daddy.
Who do I get? What do I get?
No, I love it. It's like, it's such good energy. You're like on the sugar daddy energy. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, how does it feel to be completely insufferable and use words when you clearly don't?
Why don't you tell us, man?
I don't think I'm insufferable. I think I'm valid.
Shit.
I love that you're participating in the culture that I partake in. Like
What's
you
that?
just
What
you
culture is
you
that?
just
Come on,
like
man.
you sugar to the couple over here, the Christian couple, the cult. I love it.
Oh, wait, so to get this right, anytime you call into a radio show and you win a sweepstakes, they're being a sugar daddy?
Fuck yeah. How? Wait.
so you-
I'm sorry. Is
so-
this
so
a
what
radio
you're saying is that
show?
you're just
Did you
objectively
call into a radio show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What was the question?
See, I think you've been the sugar daddy of the night. You just paid $3K. That is like equivalent to what sugar daddies do. You just did it. You're like, oh, I'm gonna fund this Christian couple because you're a cult leader, and so there you go.
Oh, so if I'm a cult leader, can you tell me what a cult is?
A cult, I don't know the actual definition, but
you don't know, but I'm the leader.
See, this is your thing. You love to ask people, what is the definition of this? Like, what is your definition? So my definition of cult, you like to push your belief onto others. That's like essentially what you do in most like arguments.
So
like
the government's a cult?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, okay.
100 fucking percent.
Take that. Brilliant, take that.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that because love the government, but like, yeah.
The government is cult leaders.
Fuck
yeah,
yes.
I know all these assholes shut me down.
But like, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, Andrew, hold on. Are you the government? You're not the government. Are you the fucking senator? No, you're not.
No,
you're
these assholes shut me down, calling me grandma and shit.
Girl, we're not even talking about you right now.
Fucking grandma. But no, that's what they do.
Girl, I'm not even talking to you right now. I'm sorry, not to be a bitch, but like, let's be real here.
Whoa, that sounded like she was being kind of a bitch to you. Not gonna lie. She sounded kind of rude.
No, I'm just trying to tell you right now, like, you're giving me shit, and you also call me an OF model. I don't do OF, and you're calling me a prostitute.
Hang on.
You call me. No, you
prostitute.
Oh no, you called me.
Let's
get this straight.
You're an escort.
Baby, let's get this straight. You called me an escort, whereas you essentially were a sugar daddy to this couple over here. So you're trying to be a swinger. Like, hello, you're trying to like swing this couple with your 3K and your Christian cult.
So to get this right, you fucked men for money.
Oh, I never said I fucked men for money. I never said I fucked men for money. I never said I fucked men for money. I said I have relationships with men, and they give me gifts and donations. I never said.
Do you have sex with some of those men who give you gifts and donations?
I never said that.
Yeah, can you answer my question?
I never said that though.
With some of the men who give you gifts and money?
Andrew, you're asking me, but I never said so.
Do you have sex with some of these men who give you gifts and money?
No, I haven't lately.
No, you fucking lie. Oh, you lately?
I haven't lately. No, I have not. But you wait, Andrew. Wait. I love how you're trying to like totally make the argument go another way and call me a prostitute. No. Your defense mechanism is to call me a prostitute and say I have sex.
Is she saying prostitute? A prostitute? It's a prostitute, not prostitute. It's not like saying prerogative. It's my prostitute. Like, that's not how you say it, lady. She also says gluttony real weird. She says gluttony. She really pronounces the T's. Gluttony. And it was really annoying, too.
Men for money when I literally called you out for giving this girl money when you're being a sugar daddy. That's what a sugar daddy does. Like, I literally go on dates with men and they give me money just for, like, existing. That's essentially what you did to her. Is it not? Is it not? Did you not give her money for existing and having a relationship with someone? You're like, I'm going to give you $3K. That's what sugar daddies do. So congratulations, you're a sugar daddy. Congratulations, whatever podcast. Andrew is a sugar daddy. We love it. Yes. Yes, smoke that cigarette, baby. Glutinous. You gluttony. You're indulging in your gluttony.
Mm-hmm. So, any of those men that you went on dates with who gave you money and resources?
What does that have to do with what I just said about your, like, you're totally, like, disregarding what I said. You're a sugar daddy. I love it, though.
I want an answer to my question.
Yeah, you and your wife are swingers, sugar couple. We love it. Swingers, yes.
Can you answer my question?
I love swingers. Ooh, your wife should swing with me. You guys can, like, go hang out with me.
Yeah, got it. But did you have sex with any of those men, though?
I never said that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you.
I never said anything.
Yeah, I know. Can you answer the question, though?
I just received donations from people who want to give me donations.
Did you ever have sex with any of those men or not?
Why should I answer to you, actually?
Because you know what the answer is.
Really? Do you know what the answer is? What do you think the answer is? I want to know what do you think?
The answer is yes.
Okay, then I
believe the answer is yes because you said that it was.
You're entitled to that answer.
Away from it.
Wait, what'd you say?
Earlier, You said, I don't do that anymore.
Anymore.
Which means that
What?
you
But I never
did.
said sex.
That means you did. No. That was specifically to the claim
Anymore.
that
Sex.
you had
Sex doesn't mean. What is your definition of sex? Define your definition of sex, Andrew.
If a man ever put his penis inside of any of your orifices,
Am I orifices?
your mouth, your ass, your vagina, or you put your hand around his penis for any elongated period of time, or he ever rubbed his penis on you consensually at any time. Did any of those things ever occur?
I don't know.
Situation.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe it
So you
did.
just don't remember if you were a prostitute or not?
I was on Xanax. I don't remember. I used to be a drug addict. I'm sorry.
Of course. I'm sorry that you don't.
I know. I'm the total definition of what you think I am.
I can actually see how you could make the equivocation and the comparison that me funding a young married couple's honeymoon.
Oh no, you're a sugar daddy. You're a sugar daddy.
Men for money.
Oh no, baby. I go out with men for nothing. I just sit there, and that's essentially what you did to her. You just said, I'm gonna give you $3,000 because you're a young couple. I've gotten money just for being a young girl. That's what you just did. So you and your wife are a sugar couple. And I fuck with that. I think you guys are so I think that's sexy. So you should really rep that. I think you should put that in your bio and your crucible. Be like, we're a sugar couple. We will give you money for just being a hot young couple, you know?
I think when women
Sexy.
So just to make sure I got this right, anytime you give a homeless person money, you're a sugar daddy?
Fuck yeah. Is she homeless?
okay.
She's not homeless.
Well, with your
Makes
logic, that's what you're making it sound
No,
like.
it's not.
Yeah.
Girl, you just got $3,000 from a couple that gave it to you because they're a sugar couple.
Can you stop
You
talking
sound
over
very
me?
jealous.
I'm not
about it.
talking over you. I
yes,
let you
you
speak
are.
what you said. I just said what I said, and I speak a little louder. That's not talking over you. So speak what you have to say.
When women do this, when they attack another woman and go
How am I
off,
attacking you?
You're attacking Andrew. You've been attacking me this whole time. I feel like
I have not been attacking you.
Let me finish talking. I've been very respectful of you this whole time.
That's
I
right.
have not
Let her
said
fucking
anything
finish,
to you.
lady. Let her fucking
Girl,
finish, lady.
I have not been attacking you. That's a crazy statement.
You said I was groomed by my husband.
How's
You
that
said-
attacking?
Stop talking. You said my.
How's that attacking?
You said.
Define it.
Can I continue speaking? Or
Sure,
are you
go
gonna keep
ahead.
talking over
Go
me?
ahead.
You said I was groomed by my husband. You said my religion is a cult.
Yes.
And now you're accusing Andrew of being a sugar daddy for
Yes.
doing a nice gesture just because.
Oh, that's
no,
not-
no.
yeah.
When women act like this, it comes out of a place of such jealousy and unhappiness,
Oh.
and you wouldn't have to attack me like this if you
This
were
isn't
happy
a
within
taxi.
yourself.
Your type of
Her husband's in a groomer isn't an attack. Really?
you're taking as an attack because
Yeah,
I don't think you can handle the truth.
Lady. Your husband's a groomer. That's not
You've
an
literally
attack.
lived such a sheltered life. I don't even think you know what real life is.
What? How do you
Yeah,
do you know my
sheltered
entire
means
life?
she just
Really?
never-
I don't know your life, but what I'm seeing, what you're displaying, it's very sheltered because you already kind of somewhat attacked me earlier.
When
So
did I attack you?
you basically attacked me in saying that I'm trying to kill babies too.
I never said you
Well, I
were
mean,
trying to kill
but
babies.
you
I said
are,
you
though.
believe that killing babies is okay, which you do believe killing babies is okay. So I made a
I
factual
never said I
statement.
believe killing babies is okay.
Yes, you
a baby
did.
is a baby. A baby is not a baby if it's in the womb, in the first month.
Okay, well, it is life
No, it's
begins
not.
at conception. So okay,
Eh.
agree to disagree, but you did say you're okay with killing
Science
babies.
is up for negotiation. It's actually not that proven.
All right.
What's not that proven?
So, Andrew, you actually said that psychology and science are not that real.
Science? No.
No, you've said this before.
I don't believe that psychology is a soft science, though. It's not real science.
I know, but you don't.
I'll just.
You don't believe science is that real.
What are you talking about? Tell me something. I know you're trolling now, but it's still.
How am I trolling?
Just let me ask you this. What's the scientific method again?
I don't know what the scientific. You can call me drunk or whatever the fuck you want to say, bitch.
Yeah, no,
I didn't say anything about you.
You're whispering to her. If you have something to say to me, say it to me.
She just said you're not being serious.
You don't even.
I didn't say anything
Selby,
about
you don't even fucking know me like that. So shut the fuck up.
All right, fine.
I think you have. Do you have a relationship with your father?
What is the significance of that?
I'm just asking.
Okay, so that's
Even Andrew was like, whoa. Even Andrew was like, whoa, damn. Slow down there. I think that we all know the answer to that is no, she does not have a relationship with her father, at least not a good one.
Actually leads to my argument earlier. You were trying to say that people should not get abortions, and my argument was that you come from a two-party household, so how can you make that argument when people come from broken households that they like can't really support a child? So like you would not know. You came from, you're very privileged. I can tell what you've said this whole night. You barely talked. You're very submissive to men. No.
Sucked any dick for money. Not even
Andrew, like you're not even here. You're not even here. You're in a box on the fucking computer screen. Like shut the like Hayate.
From my perspective, you're in a box in a computer screen.
Oh my god. Okay, my box is hotter than yours.
She never sucked.
My box gets more money than yours, baby.
Funny.
But you're right. She's sheltered. She never sucked dick for money. You're right.
Oh, I never said I sucked dick for money.
Did you ever suck dick for money?
Have you sucked dick for money?
No.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, you got it.
you.
I love that for you.
Answer the question, lady.
Lady, answer the question, lady.
Answer the question.
Lady.
You're not gonna answer it, are you?
I take the latter. I'm unemployed. I'm unemployed. I don't have a job. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, when you did have a job, was it ever
I've never had a job in my life.
When you did have a job, was it ever a blow job?
I've never had a job. I'm a civilian. Yeah. I'm a broken child, you know? Anyway. Can we get the fuck out of here?
Man.
Awkward.
I feel like you're just trying to like dig your way up from China at this point.
Dig my way up where? I don't want to dig my way up in your vagina. Hell fucking no. That shit sounds like tumultuous. Where's your whiskey at, Andrew? Let's take a shot. Come on. Let's take a shot with your whiskey. I know you love whiskey.
I have some drunk cherries at the bottom. They've been.
Ooh, cheers, Andrew. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to being a degenerate and gluttony. Eat those whiskey cherries.
Vodka cherries.
All right. Well.
Were you gonna finish your point?
What?
It kind of got interrupted. I asked you if you had a relationship with your father, then you proceeded to go off on me.
Why is that relevant?
Just asking. I'm just curious.
But why is that relevant? Can you answer my question? Why is that relevant?
Because I'm just wondering what your family...
Tell me about your relationship with your father. I'd love to hear all the
I honestly didn't have a great relationship with my dad growing up.
What was it like?
Very distant. He's an alcoholic. I mean,
So you came from a broken family?
I don't know if I would use the term broken. There were definitely flaws in my parents and my family, and I think that's with every family. What I did, instead of making an excuse and being like, well, I come from a broken marriage, whatever it may be, like I actually learned a lot from it, and I had said I don't want that in my husband.
So I asked you earlier if you came.
That's actually I'm glad that she said that, because I made this point in one of my other videos, is that, when they're talking about like, well, it's good for divorce because do you want your children brought up in that type of household? A lot of children say that. And I made the point, I was like, yeah, but sometimes that could actually be beneficial, because you could look at that and be like, I don't want that for myself. And she's actually saying, so what she's saying actually goes with my point. Like, she saw that. She saw how her father was, how he was an alcoholic. And she's like, I don't want that for my husband, rather than trying to just divorce. And so she doesn't have to be around that. Instead, it taught her like, yeah, well, listen, I don't want that in my husband. This is obviously not good. It's not good for the household. It's not healthy. So I don't want that.
A broken household, and you said you didn't. I said
it's my parents are still together. I mean, they have a house. They're successful. I don't.
But why are you now saying that you came from a broken household? When I asked you earlier,
you're defining my dad being an alcoholic and me not having a great relationship. You said broken, so I'm bringing the term broken household back in. It's not broken in the fact that my parents are still together. And
That
they
is
have
broken. You're
a
now
family.
you're actually like you're being real right now, and I
Oh my
appreciate
God, a
that.
super chat just came through. That's
No, I appreciate you being real right now because you earlier you were not being real. Now you're being real, and I can see why that you would go for an older man. Like I get it now.
It's okay.
Now,
It's
get
okay.
in the
Okay.
kitchen and make Brian a sandwich or a
Oh,
burrito.
wait, what?
That's probably Dave.
Wait, chair 2, calm down.
Is it Dave? Is he Pacey
Make
George?
Brian a sandwich
I
or
feel like he
burrito.
is Pacey George. Dave Ho.
Dave Ho.
Shut
Sorry
up,
for the
Dave.
delay on these guys. I stepped away from the I stepped away. So.
Now get it is Dave.
Yeah, she said older. Worth
Dave Ho, shut up.
Hang on, lady. Isn't your husband only like
Awesome
2 or
guests
3 years
tonight.
older than you?
Yeah.
She met him when she was 17. If you
Oh my
don't
God.
ask me, that's predatory.
I looked like this at 17. I didn't look like a child.
That's even more of like a debate argument.
Thank you, Z.
How was that?
You looked like that as a child. So
Chair 2, hang on. Just a quick.
my name is Erica.
Answer me.
Please address me by my name. I'm not chair 2. I'm an actual like human being.
So, you know what? You're right, Erica. But can you
no.
just answer one question for me? And tell the
Bitch, I'm
truth.
more poppin' than
Tell
you.
the actual truth. When you were 17,
10,000 in Bitcoin.
did you ever fuck a guy in his 20s?
Nope. I didn't lose my virginity till 19.
You're fucking coping.
I swear to God.
Fucking dog shit.
I swear to fucking God. I was literally in band all throughout school. I was a nerd.
I don't care.
I know you don't
I
care,
don't
Brian.
care.
I know.
Don't care.
We get it.
Klain donated $200. Chair
Thank
2
you,
has
Klain.
been plugged
Appreciate it.
more than a submarine with a leak. She ain't got no reason behind her argument. This is the first time she got to speak without a pin in
Yeah,
her mouth.
totally. Thank
Hashtag
you.
swallow.
Without your dad's penis in my mouth, you're welcome. Your dad's cum tastes like fucking.
Oh my God, shut up.
Sorry.
Okay, Mike Davis.
Actually, do you think that that's insulting to the guy?
Do you think that's insulting, Andrew?
That's insulting to him.
I feel like your cum tastes disgusting because you seem like you eat fast food all day.
This is like such a vile convo.
Jack in the Box.
All right, Brian.
Fucking delicious.
So
Jack in the Box tacos for the win. Yeah, in terms of fast food tacos go, yeah, Jack in the Box tacos #1. Shout out to Jack in the Box.
Me out?
Mike.
Okay, bitch. Kick me the fuck out.
Next subject.
stop. Just stop. Relax.
No, she literally just said kick me out. Do you want me kicked out? Kick me out, chat. Hello.
Well, okay, Mike Davis asked the following. How much to kick her?
Yeah. Let's do 2K.
It's
2K.
$9,999 in Bitcoin.
trying to get views.
My
Let's
Bitcoin,
do it.
my
Kick me out,
Bitcoin-
chat.
My Bitcoin wallet is in the description.
Kick me out,
if you
chat.
want her kicked out.
Also, you called me an OF girl. I don't do OF, Andrew.
It's okay.
No, but he said that earlier. He's like, you're
Hold
an
on,
OF prostitute.
Jungleff donated
Chair 2.
$1,000.
Do you know how to mute the
Hot
microphone?
champagne. I hereby bring back the muzzle.
Okay, your microphone's
Chair 2,
muted, so-
Dum Dum and Chair 3, Granny deserved 30 minutes, muted.
Bitch, I'm
We
getting
are
an Uber
losing
back.
brain
I don't want to
cells.
fucking be here.
Dude, you're not Ubering back right now.
I will Uber
Wait,
back.
there's really good stuff we still need to get into, so why don't you do this?
You were being rude
Look,
to me just now.
you're not yourself.
You called me lady. Like, be nice to me, Brian.
Well,
Like,
you just
haven't-
called me a
hey,
bitch.
excuse me, you didn't use my
Because-
preferred pronouns. Hey,
Girl.
sit down, sit down, sit down. Or
don't even. You're like you're letting these men like take your whole like. I see your game you do, and this is why you were in a groomed relationship.
Okay.
You
Bro,
let
why
men just
are
like
you-
dictate you.
you're like you're doing a
I
little
answered
thing.
on one man.
I'm not doing anything. This is me.
You're doing a little thing where you're trying to get under her skin by.
Yeah,
I'm
and we
not.
know nothing about her personal relationship.
So let's,
Oh, don't even start. Don't even start on you.
Well,
Okay.
we
You've
do know
said
one
bu-
thing.
fucking word. You've said word
Hold
sounds
on.
all
My bad.
fucking
My
night,
bad.
girl.
Hold on,
All
hold on.
fucking night. I've gotten text messages from people that actually have intelligence. You've said word sounds all fucking night that don't make sense. I don't agree.
Jazz,
with-
are you gonna let her talk to you
agree
like
with
this?
Oh no.
Probably the only good point she's made all night.
You don't know. You literally like. I agree with half what you said. Then half what you said, I'm like, girl, what the like? Actually, like.
yeah, we don't have to agree.
Yeah, I know, but
But
like
you can be respectful towards her and not.
respect. Girl, we're on a podcast. What do you mean respect?
You
We're
can
here to have that.
respectfully debate. You don't have to call people bitches and say that their husband groomed them and say I don't know what that
How
you're
is
talking
that
about.
rude to say bitch and your husband grooms you?
That's condescending when you don't know anything about my
You
relationship.
called me
Bro,
drunk
guys,
as an argument
stop.
earlier.
This
You're like, are you
conversation's
drunk? Are you drunk
boring.
as your fucking argument? So no, don't even get there. You literally thought you were being condescending, like, are you drunk? Are you drunk just because you noticed I was drinking tonight?
But you were drunk, though.
Girl, I'm always drunk. What's the argument? And she was trying to act like I'm like inebriated in a way where I'm like, no. Oh, she's gonna. Hi, everybody. I was groomed by my fucking 20-year-old man when I was 17. Hello. We love it. Actually, I don't love it. Bitch, I'm Ubering back. I do not like.
You should stay for your notes. ET.
No, bitch. Like, this is. See, like, you think I was calling you a bitch?
Bro, you're the one beefing with everybody. You're the one chirping everybody.
I'm not chirping.
You're chirping.
We should just settle down.
I'm finally saying what I have to say because I heard what she said earlier and she thought she was being all like.
Speak. If you're gonna speak, at least do it into the.
I know. I'm sorry, Brian. I forget. We don't have headphones. You should invest in headphones. Like, hello, you make how much money?
But you had some things to say. Go ahead and say them.
Oh my God, that's crazy. There's chats coming through. Hopefully we can redirect the conversation away from this.
Lulu donated 200.
Lulu.
E.T. clearly needs to phone home. By the way, what is this chirping? Is this another new slang I have to learn now? Chirping? What is this? Chirping? You've been chirping all night. Well, what does that mean? It's going off on people? Comment section, please. But anyway, that was Chair 2's Crash Out. I think there's a little bit more, but I don't remember. But link is in the description down below if you want to see the rest of this. But I just wanted to share these clips with you today because, like I said, after Jargate, I think it's important. Because after Jargate, I felt Andrew Wilson has redeemed himself back in peak form, slaying these 304s and stupid feminists and 304 grannies. But what did you guys think about this? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Give this video a like if you liked it. That'll really be helping me out a lot. And if you really liked it, subscribe to my channel. That'll help me out too. If you want to see more Andrew Wilson stuff, I got a playlist for you on the screen. If you want to see whatever podcast stuff, I also got a playlist for you on the screen that you could click away and enjoy.